At 3 in the morning, the world is wrapped in a silence that carries its own sacred vibration. It is the hour when the noise of the outer world is hushed, when the constant stream of human thoughts has slowed, and when the spirit stands closest to the unseen realms. At this time, the veil between the conscious and the subconscious is thin, and the words spoken rise with unusual power, almost as though the entire universe leans in to listen. The early hour is not a time of chance, but a divine appointment where one can speak creation into being. To speak at this hour is to place your word directly into the womb of the universe, and it responds faithfully to what you decree. When you rise in this quiet time, you are stepping into alignment with ancient rhythms that have governed humanity long before clocks or calendars. The early morning hour carries a magnetic quality. It is not only the time when the body is at rest but when the mind is most impressionable, receptive, and open to instruction. The subconscious does not resist, it simply receives. And whatever it receives at this sacred moment, it begins to weave into the tapestry of your reality. Imagine the stillness of a lake untouched by wind. When you drop even a small stone, ripples spread far and wide. So it is with your words at 3 a.m. They ripple through the unseen, touching channels you cannot yet see, opening doors you do not yet know, and calling forth provision in ways beyond your comprehension. This is why you must be mindful of what you speak at this hour. Idle words are not to be thrown carelessly into the silence. Every word carries weight, but at this time, it carries multiplied weight. If you speak fear, fear multiplies. If you speak debt, debt finds a way to return. But if you speak faith, abundance, and supply, then the invisible rivers of prosperity are summoned and flow toward you. There is no need to plead, beg, or cry out. The universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to certainty, to the calm assurance of one who knows that what is spoken has already been granted. Think of it as a sacred contract. At 3 a.m., when you utter your decree, you sign your name to a divine agreement. You declare what you choose to experience, and that declaration is carried like a letter delivered by unseen messengers. These messengers do not delay. They go forth at once to prepare the way, to arrange circumstances, to align you with opportunities, and to place in your path the very supply you have claimed. Your role is only to speak with conviction, to know within that your word cannot return void, and then to walk through your day as though the matter is settled. This is the great secret of the early hour. It is not that money suddenly rains from the sky, or that miracles must burst forth in dramatic displays. It is that the vibration of your spoken word shifts the current of your life. It changes how people respond to you, how doors open, how new thoughts arise in your mind, and how unexpected channels deliver what you require. The world is a mirror, and when at 3 a.m. you declare abundance, the mirror of your day reflects it back in kind. Therefore, when the world sleeps and the stars still reign in silence, rise for a brief moment. Speak not many words, but a few chosen ones, strong and unwavering. Let them be words of wealth, words of flow, words of gratitude for what is already here. Then rest again, knowing that you have planted a seed in the most fertile soil of existence. That seed will not fail to grow, for it has been spoken at the sacred hour where heaven and earth meet, where your voice is power, and where your decree becomes destiny. To understand the flow of abundance, one must first understand the power of language. Every word spoken carries with it an unseen force that builds or destroys, opens or closes, multiplies or diminishes. When you rise in the stillness of the early morning, you are standing at the threshold of creation, and what you speak becomes the seed of your day. This is why one must be vigilant not to speak from the energy of lack, debt, or fear, for the universe magnifies whatever is declared. To say, "I am broke," is to invite more emptiness. To declare, "I never have enough," is to write a command that the unseen world must obey. Lack is not destroyed by talking about it. Lack is only multiplied when it is given voice. Instead, one must choose to speak words of abundance. To say, "Money flows to me freely and joyfully," is not mere poetry. It is a statement that shifts the atmosphere of your life. Words of abundance invite the law of increase, while words of lack call forth the law of decrease. When you speak prosperity, you are not wishing or hoping, you are directing universal energy into channels that will respond to your call. The universe, like a faithful servant, answers to the authority of your words. This is why the difference between speaking abundance and speaking lack is not small. It is the difference between a door that opens and a door that shuts. Consider the mind as a garden. Whatever words you plant, the subconscious takes as truth and brings forth as fruit. If you say, "I am always in debt," you have planted seeds of struggle, and the soil of your subconscious will yield circumstances to match. But if you say, "I am a magnet for wealth and opportunities," the subconscious will obediently bring forth situations, ideas, and connections that create wealth. The soil does not question the seed. It does not say, "This one is possible, this one is impossible." It simply receives and multiplies what is planted. Therefore, your responsibility is to plant wisely. Speak abundance with clarity, with conviction, and without hesitation. For what you speak today becomes the harvest you live tomorrow. When you speak words of abundance, you align yourself with the flow of life itself. Nature is never in lack. The trees do not struggle to grow their leaves. The rivers do not question where they will reach the sea. The sun does not ask permission to rise. Everything in creation operates in overflow, in cycles of giving and receiving. When you declare abundance, you harmonize with this natural rhythm, and money begins to find you in unexpected ways. It may come through ideas, through people, through sudden opportunities, or through paths you never imagined. But it comes because you spoke in alignment with the law of supply rather than the illusion of lack. Let every word you speak be a declaration of freedom, not bondage. Refuse to give life to negative statements about money. Speak instead of flow, increase, prosperity, gratitude, and generosity. Declare that you are guided to wise choices, that opportunities chase after you, that your needs are already met before you ask. These are not empty affirmations but spiritual decrees that summon the abundance waiting for expression in your life. Every time you speak in this way, you are turning the key that opens invisible storehouses. You are commanding the river of prosperity to move in your direction. You are calling forth money as a servant, not as a master. The choice between lack and abundance begins with your lips. At the sacred hour, when you rise to speak, let every word be rich. Let every decree carry the vibration of wealth, and let no phrase of fear escape your tongue. Speak as though the universe has already answered you, for indeed it has. What you say becomes what you see, and by choosing words of abundance, you command money to flow all day long. Every word you speak carries the vibration of a command, and the unseen forces of life are compelled to obey. The spoken word is not idle breath, it is a decree, a declaration, a spiritual law put into motion. When you rise in the stillness and say, "Money flows to me freely and easily," you are not whispering a dream into the darkness. You are issuing an order to the universe itself. These words go forth like messengers, and they do not rest until they have fulfilled the mission you assigned. The world is governed by laws, both seen and unseen, and the law of the spoken word is as sure as gravity. What you decree with conviction must eventually appear, for the word spoken in faith becomes the form lived in reality. Too often, people treat words lightly, as if they are nothing but sounds to fill the silence. They speak of poverty, of struggle, of misfortune, never realizing that each phrase is an order written in invisible ink upon the fabric of their lives. When someone says, "I can never get ahead," that command does not vanish into thin air, it sets circumstances into motion that prove it true. When another says, "Everything I touch turns against me," the unseen forces of life begin arranging themselves to carry out that decree. Words are servants, but they take no judgment of their own. They do not question whether what you say is wise or foolish, possible or impossible. They simply obey. This is why the spoken word must be used with intention. To say, "I am blessed with overflowing wealth," is to send forth a powerful command that life must fulfill. It is not about begging for money or wishing for luck. It is about standing in authority and declaring what is already true in spirit until it takes form in matter. When a king gives an order, he does not wonder if it will be obeyed. He speaks once, with certainty, and the order sets in motion. So too must you speak. Once, clearly, firmly, with no trace of doubt, for doubt is the only thing that weakens a decree, while faith strengthens it beyond resistance. The power lies not only in the words themselves but in the energy with which they are spoken. A faint, fearful whisper carries little weight, but a calm, steady declaration carries the vibration of unshakable truth. When you affirm, "I am a channel for unlimited prosperity," and you believe it, you have already shifted the unseen to align with that reality. You may not see it immediately, but the decree has gone forth, and life is rearranging itself to match your words. Opportunities will be drawn to you, people will appear to assist, ideas will flash in your mind, and unexpected channels of supply will open. It may look like coincidence, but it is not coincidence. It is the law responding to your spoken command. Once the decree is made, it must not be undone. Do not cancel your order with words of fear or complaint. Do not plant a seed of wealth in the early morning and dig it up with words of worry by noon. The law listens to every word, and it responds without hesitation. If you want money to flow, speak words that direct it with clarity and then leave the decree to fulfill itself. Trust that the law never fails. Your spoken word is the architect of your day, the builder of your experience, the force that shapes your destiny. So when you rise and speak, know that your words are not empty. They are alive, they are creative, they are commands dressed in sound. Speak wealth, speak freedom, speak abundance, and the universe will rush to obey. Say it once with faith, and it is done. The decree has gone forth, and money must flow to you, for the word has spoken and the law has answered.
Faith is the unseen soil in which every word planted must grow. Without faith, words are like seeds cast upon stone, unable to take root, unable to blossom. But when faith is present, even the smallest decree has the power to unfold into great harvests. To speak at the sacred hour is to plant, but to believe in the unseen fulfillment is to water and nourish the seed. Faith does not ask when or how. Faith does not question whether the universe heard. Faith knows that once the word is spoken, the matter is already accomplished in spirit and must soon appear in form. Many people speak words of abundance but then smother them with doubt. They say, "Money flows to me freely," but in the next breath they whisper, "I wonder if this will work." This wavering cancels the decree. It is like planting a seed in the soil and digging it up the next day to see if it is growing. Nothing can flourish when faith is absent. But when you speak and then rest in the certainty that the law has already answered, the unseen begins to weave circumstances in your favor. You may not see the roots beneath the soil, but they are forming, reaching, and drawing nourishment. The manifestation may not be visible yet, but the process is already underway. Faith is not mere hope, nor is it blind wishing. Faith is the calm assurance that spiritual laws are unbreakable. Just as the sun rises without fail, just as gravity holds without pause, so too does the law of spoken word respond with precision. Faith sees beyond the present lack into the invisible abundance that already exists. When you say, "I am a magnet for prosperity," and you believe, you are aligning your inner vision with the eternal truth that supply is limitless. The outer world will always reflect the inner picture, and faith paints the inner picture with bold strokes of certainty. Consider the farmer who plants seeds. He does not stand over the field in despair, wondering if the harvest will ever come. He trusts the process, knowing that nature never betrays its own laws. So too must you trust when you speak words of abundance. The moment you declare them, the unseen world begins to work in your favor. People, places, and opportunities begin moving silently toward you. Doors that seemed closed suddenly open. Ideas come into your mind with clarity. What appeared impossible begins to take shape. Faith allows you to rest while the law performs its perfect work. To live in faith is to release anxiety, for worry is the enemy of manifestation. Worry says, "I do not believe my seed will grow." But gratitude and trust say, "It is already growing, even if I cannot yet see it." Faith transforms your vibration, and that vibration attracts to you everything of its kind. When you walk through your day with the inner knowing that your words are already fulfilled, you draw circumstances that reflect that certainty. The money begins to flow not because you strain or struggle, but because you have aligned yourself with the law of abundance through unwavering faith. This is why the sacred act of speaking at the early hour must be followed by the sacred act of believing. Speak once with conviction, and then rest in the knowledge that the invisible has already shifted. Do not look at appearances of lack, for they are but shadows. Look instead with the eye of faith and see the abundance already forming. As you hold to this vision, the unseen becomes the seen, the invisible takes shape, and the decree spoken blossoms into the reality lived. Faith is the soil, faith is the water, faith is the sun. With it, your word becomes flesh, your decree becomes destiny, and your prosperity cannot be withheld. Once the decree has been spoken, the next step is to live as though it is already fulfilled. Too many people declare abundance with their lips but deny it with their actions. They say, "Money flows to me freely," but they walk through the day with a heavy step, with fear in their hearts, with worry written across their faces. This is not alignment, this is contradiction. The universe responds not only to the words you speak, but also to the posture of your being. To speak abundance is to plant the seed, but to live as though it is already true is to water it with faith. You must carry yourself as if the doors are already open, as if the flow is already present, as if the prosperity you called forth is already yours. Living in alignment with your decree means embodying the vibration of wealth. It means smiling with gratitude for blessings that have not yet appeared in form, but are already real in spirit. It means refusing to complain, refusing to speak of delay, refusing to sink into fear when appearances suggest lack. The world of form is always behind the world of spirit. What you see today is simply the echo of what you believed yesterday. Therefore, do not allow appearances to trick you into contradiction. Hold to the truth of your words and walk through the day as though your harvest is already here. When you act as if the promise has already been kept, the law of life rushes to make it so. Imagine two people who declare prosperity at dawn. One goes forth worrying about bills, doubting every opportunity, and expecting disappointment. The other goes forth with confidence, expecting favor, smiling at strangers, seizing opportunities, and carrying the air of abundance. Both spoke the same decree, but only one lived it. Which one do you think will draw prosperity into their experience? The answer is clear. Life mirrors the vibration you hold. If you hold the vibration of lack, even if you speak abundance, the mirror reflects lack. But if you hold the vibration of fulfillment, the mirror cannot help but reflect it back to you. To live as though the prayer is answered is to become magnetic. People are drawn to your confidence, doors open where none seem to exist, and ideas come to your mind that you would never have discovered in a state of doubt. Money is not only paper, it is energy, and energy flows to where it is welcomed. If you carry yourself in fear, you repel it. If you carry yourself in joy, you attract it. The universe responds to the certainty of your walk as much as to the certainty of your words. This does not mean pretending with forced enthusiasm. It means settling into the calm, knowing that your decree is law. Just as the sun does not rise halfway, just as the tides do not hesitate to return, your decree cannot fail when you live in its vibration. Speak once, believe once, and then act all day as though the result is already secured. Pay your bills with gratitude, knowing that more supply is on the way. Look at every encounter as a possible channel of blessing. Greet each moment with expectation rather than dread. These actions are not empty habits. They are signals to the universe that you are aligned, that you are ready, that you are living from the truth of abundance rather than the illusion of lack. As you walk in this alignment, momentum builds. Each day lived in faith makes the current stronger until the flow of money and opportunity becomes steady and undeniable. Soon, what was once an inner decree becomes an outer reality. You look around and see evidence everywhere: unexpected income, new opportunities, helpful people, and open doors. All of this flows not only from the words you spoke, but from the way you chose to live after speaking them. To declare abundance is to light a flame. To live as though it is already here is to keep that flame burning until it becomes a fire that lights your entire path. Gratitude is the seal that completes the flow of abundance and keeps it alive. Without gratitude, even the most powerful decree remains unfinished, for gratitude is the language that tells the universe, "It is done." When you rise in the early hour and declare wealth, you must follow your words with thanksgiving, not only for what is coming but for what already is. Gratitude transforms the vibration of your being. It takes you out of longing and places you in fulfillment. It shifts you from waiting for blessings to receiving them in the present moment. To say, "Thank you for the money that flows to me with ease," is to live in the vibration of abundance long before the outer evidence arrives. And because life mirrors your vibration, it must return to you experiences that match your gratitude. Gratitude does not wait for visible results. It gives thanks in advance, knowing that the decree spoken cannot fail. To walk through your day thanking the universe for unseen supply is to demonstrate unshakable faith, and faith joined with gratitude is an unstoppable force. Consider the difference between one who prays for prosperity while complaining of lack and one who prays for prosperity while rejoicing in advance. The first one delays their harvest, for complaint is a vibration of doubt. The second one hastens their harvest, for gratitude is a vibration of certainty. Gratitude says, "I believe so strongly that I give thanks before I see the result." This is the mark of true faith. When you give thanks, you open the channel wider. Money flows where it is welcomed. Opportunities move toward those who expect and appreciate them. Gratitude is the magnet that pulls blessings closer, the oil that keeps the gears of manifestation turning smoothly. To complain is to close the channel, to stop the gears, to resist the flow. But to be grateful even for small blessings is to multiply them. What you appreciate expands. If you thank the universe for the little you have, that little grows. If you ignore or resent it, even the little begins to slip away. Gratitude is not passive, it is creative. It multiplies what it touches. Carrying gratitude through your day transforms ordinary moments into miracles. When you look at the money already in your possession, no matter how small, and give thanks, you create a vibration of wealth. When you look at opportunities, however humble, and give thanks, you invite greater opportunities to appear. When you thank the universe for supply you cannot yet see, you summon it more quickly. Gratitude operates beyond logic. It is not bound by visible circumstances. It is an inner stance that says, I trust the invisible more than I fear the visible. And because the invisible is the root of all visible things, gratitude draws into form what faith has already claimed. Gratitude also softens the heart and removes resistance. A grateful spirit cannot hold fear, anger, or resentment for long. These lower vibrations cannot coexist with true thanksgiving. The one who walks in gratitude walks lightly, radiates joy, and becomes a blessing to others. This, too, multiplies abundance, for life gives more to those who are generous in spirit. Gratitude turns your very presence into a magnet for prosperity, for people are drawn to the energy of one who appreciates life, and through people, money and opportunities often flow. So when you speak your decree at 3 a.m., let your final act be thanksgiving. Say, thank you that it is already done. Thank you that money flows to me this day. Thank you that I walk in abundance, that I live in supply, that I am surrounded by prosperity. Let this thanksgiving be sincere, not mechanical, flowing from a heart that knows the truth. Then carry that gratitude into every moment of your day. As you give thanks, the flow continues. As you give thanks, the channels stay open. As you give thanks, the universe responds with more. Gratitude is the seal, the multiplier, and the keeper of the flow. With it, your decree becomes unshakable. Your abundance becomes inevitable, and money must flow to you all day long.